Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Decisive Strike of Rebellion, Vegeta, the latest Dokkan Festival, and one of the first Dokkan Fest units that have come out for JP and Global. Now, this Vegeta is a Planet Namek Saga Gifted Warriors or Inhuman Deeds lead of 170%, with 30% for Dragon Ball Seekers or Pure Saiyans, which is pretty solid. He greatly raises attack and raises his defense permanently, which is again also fairly solid. And in terms of his passive, it's quite a doozy, but he's predominantly an orb changing unit. Now, he's not strictly speaking a nuking unit, because although dependent on orbs, it's not scalability per orb. So, like, getting a field of 23 doesn't make a difference to Vegeta. He caps out at 10, but still pretty good. He will activate his entrance animation once only, and he will get key plus 3 attack and defense of 180% for the rest of battle when facing only one enemy at the start of the character's attacking turn. He gets attack and defense of 50% per key sphere obtained up to 500%, and will randomly change key spheres of a certain type, AGL excluded, to rainbow. He reduces damage received by 30% and chance of evading plus 18% with an AGL key sphere or 5 or more key spheres obtained. An additional chance of evasion of 30% with an additional damage reduction of 18% when attacking. And if HP is 50% or more, he will launch an additional super. If HP is 50% or less, at the end of the turn, he gets an additional defense of 50% with a high chance of performing a critical hit from the next turn onwards. After he performs a super attack 5 or more times in battle, changes all key spheres to AGL key spheres at the start of the next attacking turn. And for the character's attacking turn going forward, he will basically essentially randomly change key spheres of a certain type to AGL, which is really good. Now, how Vegeta works functionally is basically off of additionals. You want him to get as many attacks as possible. Brock is orb changing, that guarantees his full passive. Then, ideally, you want to try and balance that 50% health threshold so that Vegeta can get his crit, and then maximize additional to obviously stack as quickly as possible and make the most of his damage. His active skill, which massively raises his attack and also gives him a 50% attack boost in battle, is incredibly helpful, but it is something that I will say you predominantly want to use straight away. I know a lot of the times you want to hold on to actives because you're like, yeah, I want to save it when I need the damage. In this case, because it gives Vegeta such a big boost in damage, generally speaking, I would say you want to use it as quickly as possible. So definitely for me, you need to use that active upon cooldown, pretty much. So the moment it becomes active, use it, basically. I know it can be a little bit confusing, but use it basically. Now, in terms of everything else, honestly, I think Vegeta is pretty good. Link set's not too bad either. Same lineage, same war race, prepared for battle, fierce battle. All gives him pretty much the, how can I say, gives him the basis that you really want to work with. So I think overall, that's really, really solid. But I think ultimately for me, Vegeta is really good. I think he's a good unit. That 48% evasion, 48% damage reduction is enough to give him enough defensive viability on top of the million defense. I'm not saying he's the perfect first slot tank, because that's not the case, but I do think he is quite solid. I do think he could be, you can see me using him as a first slot tank. One thing I will say is that he is on some pretty strong teams. He's on Planetary Destruction. He does somewhat fit alongside a Broly. Not amazingly, but he does share 3 or so links with them. We will have to see what other EZAs could potentially come out to boost him. The only thing I don't really like right now is obviously Planet Namek Saga is not in the craziest place. It could be in a better position. It's not to say that Vegeta is not good or anything, or that Namek Saga is never going to be good, but that part of his leader skill doesn't feel holistically useful right now. For me at least, that's what I would say. But overall, a good unit. Not the craziest, like not the most insane in the game, but I think a very strong unit, a good start to boosting Planet Saga, and I think a very nice versatile unit that's actually very easy to use. Takes care of himself with the orb changing, takes care of himself with pretty much like everything. So I think overall, I'm very happy with just how good this unit is, and I think for the most part, players probably will be fairly happy as well with just how good Vegeta is. So yeah, I think for me that kind of summarizes everything. Obviously, I think if you want to run him or go for him, you can. I think he is better operating under another person's lead skill. I don't think he, carries the team lead-wise, but I think he could be great under a whole bunch of other teams. So I do think that's something that's very helpful and very good. But yeah, overall, I'd probably say Vegeta, solid unit, very good, excellent at 100%. I do think you need a couple dupes just because of how everything works. And I think, once he gets going, really, really good. So I really like Vegeta. I think depending on the buffs to Planet Namek Saga, he could be, an excellent unit. If that Goku and Vegeta gets the right kind of easy aim, then this Vegeta could be great. But he's already really good on a planetary destruction team. So yeah, very, very happy with that. All in all, try and prioritize Prepared for Battle where you can, or any of his links really, but he's got a good baseline link set. So he's not going to link up amazingly with everyone, but he'll share like 3 links with a lot of units, Sand Lineage, Sand Warrior Race, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, etc. So he should get along well enough that you can consider running him alongside most units. And I think Planetary Destruction right now is really where he's going to shine, if not maybe Gifted Warriors, or like Vegeta's family or something. But yeah, that's it from me.